Hey, so I would like to tell a story. A few years ago, I was in a program working on a second bachelor's, this time in theater, and we were given an assignment. And this story is about that assignment. So the assignment, and it was for a theater class, the assignment was very simple. It was, think of someone that you've met in your life with whom you've had a conflict. And it can be somebody that you feel ambivalent toward or somebody that you out and out dislike. Give that person a gift and don't expect anything in return. So I thought that's kind of odd, but I'm thinking my whole life, that spans quite a lot of years, especially compared to my classmates who were like 40 years younger. So I'm thinking conflicts. Yeah, I've had a few. Conflicts with people I sort of could take or leave. That's still a pretty long list. Who do I out and out dislike? So I'm thinking, and I had it. It was my violin professor in college when I worked on my first degree, and I had been harboring this has been gnawing at me for years. And I was thinking about that, and I thought, that's who I would give a gift to. But it had been 37 years. How would I find him? Was he even still alive? So fortunately, there was a former student who had his address. So I thought, well, that's what I'll do. I will give a gift to my teacher at the university. Never mind, I won't say the school. So I had been taking violin lessons since the 4th grade. Music was my passion. I just thought it was natural that I'd go on and work on a degree in music. And I even waited on tables for an entire summer to save up enough money to buy a violin to take to college. And I named my violin Salvatore. Salvatore was a beauty, and we made beautiful, blissful music together until my lessons with Dr. Bachman. Dr. Bachman was a scary little man. He had charcoal-colored hair, wiry hair that flew in every direction when he moved. He had beady, piercing, black eyes that would look right through you. He had bushy black eyebrows that would intensify with all his facial contortions that he would make when you played. In fact, something about him reminded me of that comedian from the 50s and 60s, Groucho Marx, except that he wasn't funny at all, unless you liked his signature sarcasm, which could reduce you to a pile of goo in seconds. So, what could I possibly give to Dr. Bachman now that I knew his address? I would write him a letter. A thank you letter, but thanking him for what? Arrogance, intimidation, humiliation. His actions when I played included, but were not limited to, digging his fingers in his skin. He would fold his arms and he would look away. He would roll his eyes. He would shake his head. He would put it in his hand. He would even put his hands over his ears when I played. He would call me Patricia, Pam, Penny, any P name he could think of except my name, which was Peggy. And when he ran out of incorrect P names, he would call me a sarcastic sweetie. Play it again, sweetie. And this time I'm going to circle every note you play on the tune. And then he would take his pencil in my music and he would circle most of the notes. And it seemed to me that he would circle them before I even played them. And I started to doubt myself. I started to feel bad about the way I played. I started to think maybe Salvatore and I weren't going to be a team after all. And I would write the letter, but how can I make it something positive? So I started the letter. Dear Dr. Bachman, I realize it's been 34 years since I studied with you. And I've retired from 34 years of successful, that'll get it, teaching. And I've had some time to do some reflecting. Okay, so although we didn't always see eye to eye, I did want you to know I always had respect for you and your devotion to music. And I also wanted you to know that your unique contributions to my education were appreciated, both music and those in other areas, which I really felt were more important. I remember one time when I cried in my lesson, and you asked me what was wrong, and I said I was having trouble with student teaching, and you understood my frustration. And you shared with me a technique you had of grabbing the student's attention. And to illustrate your point, you grabbed me firmly but gently by the shoulders, and you stared directly into my eyes. And that moment of communication, that moment stayed with me for the rest of my life, and the connection to teaching. I wrote, "You are truly a teacher I will never forget," and that's for sure. And I signed my name. Now, would I actually send that letter? I was wondering, and writing the letter was emotionally exhausting, but I was surprised at how the words flowed as I worked, and they made something positive out of the past. And so I did mail it, and I put my return address on it. And I said, it's time to move on, assignment complete. But it was hard to let it go. Even though the teacher had said, don't expect anything in return. After about a week, I looked in the mailbox, hoping maybe for a return letter. There was nothing. And then maybe a few days later, nothing. And every day, I looked in the mailbox, and there was nothing there. And I wanted to let it go, but I couldn't. Every day, my disappointment became worse. But after a few months, the surprise of my life was in my mailbox. It was a letter from Dr. Bout, a handwritten letter. I opened it anxiously. Dear Peggy, after 34 years, he finally got my name right. Dear Peggy, it's been a while since I received your kind letter, and then he apologized, saying he had been recovering from surgery. He said, I always knew that you were born to be a teacher and make a strong impact on your students. And then he shared some reflections on his own teaching, revealing a vulnerability I could never have imagined. And he spoke to me like I was actually a colleague. And he signed it, my very, very best to you, Gerald Bachman. I was just totally taken aback. How could these beautiful words come from the pompous and terrifying man I had known in the 60s? Did he really remember me? I probably never know for sure. Maybe he embellished as I had by emphasizing the positive and letting the negative go. I do know this. After reading the letter, all that anger and resentment I had harbored that had been gnawing at me through the years disappeared. I felt vindicated. I felt a sense of relief, relaxation, and closure. That experience, that assignment seemed so weird to me, but it changed my entire outlook on life. And I was thinking, what am I going to do now that the bitterness and the animosity toward that man has just blown away? I'm thinking, I've got it. I'll look for my violin, AKA Salvatore. I'll take it out of the case, and I'll practice. It couldn't hurt. And, oh, here's Salvatore right now. Let's say this.